Hello everyone! Today we are going to be playing some Space Engineers. I've played this a little bit here in the past, so I kind of know what I'm going to be doing here. I have already loaded a world and spawned on the moon. At first, we're going to play without mods on because I have a lot of mods that have a lot of enemies that spawn around you, and in the beginning of the game it can be very hard to actually in the beginning of the game it can be really hard to get started because there's just so many bad guys shooting at you all the time. But as we get into it and as we get more stuff, I will slowly turn some of those mods on. At first, we are on the moon. We got our nice little survival pod. So it looks like the first thing we are going to be doing is just digging a hole. Good old classic, you know, diggy hole. I just need to get enough resources to make some solar panels, some refineries, and batteries. You know, the things you need. Unfortunately, we are on the moon, so we do not have enough atmosphere for windmills to work. Those really are the best way to get power. But that's okay, we can use solar for now. Eventually, I would like to convert to uranium, or like reactors and whatnot, but until I have the parts for it, I am going to just be using the solar, unfortunately. So the first thing we need to do is make a whole ton of just ingots, whatever would come from that stone. And then we're gonna find more stone. Because we will never have enough in this beginning stage of stone. At least until you can get your first refinery to where you can mine, like, refine ores and whatnot, you just use stone. Unfortunately, the survival kit does not let you refine, like, actual ores and whatnot. It only melts the stone. I say melt, because that really is what you're doing when you're refining a lot of ores and whatnot from the world. Or at least it appears that way. It doesn't seem like any other process, like, it doesn't seem like there's a chemical process going on to do it. But yeah, that's about all we're doing now here. After we get about 1,000 iron, I'm going to start making my base. But until then, we are just gonna mine stone. But yes, this is if it wasn't obvious, this is a survival series. I am planning on, you know, showing you a lot of the stuff that I learned and I've learned from other people over the time I've spent playing this. Hopefully, you'll come out of it with a little bit more knowledge about the game. And if not, it'll be an interesting adventure. One thing I'm really excited for, I want to build a ship printer at some point. Ooh, there's about to be a solar eclipse on the moon. Probably shouldn't look directly at that. I think that's how you go blind. Too bad I don't have the solar panels up yet. I could really use the extra, like, radiation that comes from an event like this. I don't know if that actually happens in this game, but it'd be pretty cool if it did. I know that, like, during windstorms, the, like, wind turbines will get a lot more power. Now, I started on the moon for a couple of reasons here. One, I wanted the challenge. Two, I also want to get going as soon as possible, and with the like, with how uneven the Earth's terrain is, and with the fact that the respawn pod isn't like a usable ship, like this one you can drive around in and whatnot, so it has use to me right now. Alright, so we got about 1,000 iron now. That's pretty good. We got a little bit more than that, but that's fine here. So we're gonna make 500 of these. Now, I do have all the settings turned up to where I have the most inventory space. I basically was like, okay, I understand this, I'm gonna be playing survival, but I don't want to spend all day doing it. So that was my reasoning behind it anyway. So I have assembler efficiency all the way up, inventory size all the way up, and stuff of that nature. Which, I mean, it seems pretty sensical, right? So right now we're just waiting for the steel plates to get finished here. Unfortunately, the sun is setting, so we are going to have to wait a little bit here before we... actually, we could also drive around a little bit to the point where the sun is, like, at the surface. I kind of like this spot, though, because iron, and it's got the cobalt here. I might mark it. We'll see here. I also like that the ship comes with a working ore detector on it. One thing I am a little bit concerned of, it does not have the most power efficiency. Like it seems like it, when you're driving, it runs out of power really quickly. And that's just a little bit concerning to me for the longevity of this craft, as it is my only way of survival right now. We'll put down a quick GPS marker here, though. New current position, SICBFE. So that is just so I know what's here. I can come back here later, and I will already know. Oh, I thought I said silicon. I think it was nickel. It's not the end of the world. Silicon, nickel, what's the difference? Oop, shit. I can do this and go wee. That's also a nice part about being on the moon. When you land really hard on a, well, you don't really land that hard on a rover, because the moon has, you know, such little gravity that it's inconsequential. We're definitely a little bit slow. Could certainly be going a little bit faster here, but that's fine. Half of me is almost tempted to try and see if this one single thruster can get me up to that, you know, beacon and station up there, but I don't think I'll be able to. So I will continue exploring, and I'll be back with you later once I find a good spot to rest. Alright guys, I am back. I have not found a spot to land quite yet, but I did find out something interesting. You can 100% fly with this thing. It definitely works. I definitely don't think it should, but you can kind of fly with it with the single thruster. You definitely need to fly it like a helicopter, though, in that wherever is facing below, like directly below you, is the direction you'll be going. So say for example, if I were to lean myself up that way, the thrust would be pushing like towards the camera. So you can kind of go like this, and it's a little bit, or not a little bit, it's a lot a bit faster than what you could get on just the wheels. And also you can get a little bit of an above perspective, so I can see that there's some ores down here. I think I'm going to stop here and see what's around. I might put some of the ores, no, I'm not going to. I really need to get to a spot where the sun is shining. Anyway, like I said, I'll be right back. I just wanted to show you this motherfucker can fly. Okay, guys, so I done goofed. Um, I accidentally left the atmosphere of the moon a little bit. I'm starting to get back down here, but I did also find a spot where the sun is coming up and not setting. Also, there is a nice little location of ice here. I think this is gonna be where we will build our base here. Once I fall, which will take a moment with this gravity, I will start building my base. I'm gonna push myself down a little bit like this here with the thruster to hopefully get down a little bit faster, because we are 2,000 meters away. I believe some would even call it 2 kilometers. I don't know why it doesn't just switch to K immediately. It has to be 10 first. There's a military facility over there, which is fine. They won't bother me as long as I don't bother them. And I don't plan on it. They seem like they will probably kick my ass as it currently stands. I am in a car. It has no weapons. I hope this is ice, by the way. It looks like ice. I think it's ice. I'm really not sure, though. Alright, gonna stop that now. Oh, come on. This is so rough. This is such rough terrain. I'm gonna die. Gonna die. Gonna explode. Yup, it happened. Well, that was the survival kit, too. Time to restart. Goodbye, everyone. We'll try again. Alright, hello, everyone. We're back. So I respawned myself, and I was looking at some of the options. One of them is to kind of start in a small little ship like this here, just in the middle of space. Not in the middle, but in space. So I'm gonna do that just to get us a little bit further along, a little bit quicker here. There's plenty of stuff here. You can see it does not have landing gears, so we will have to make those later on in order to be able to build some other things, because progression is on. I could have turned it off, but it doesn't bother me that much. At least me personally. This is also a really nice ship because it does have a small cargo container here off at right at the beginning here. I'm going to really quick give this a good save. And I am going to go into creative mode, and I want to take a little bit of a better look at this ship here, because I'm curious if this connects up to the survival kit inside, and if I can actually, you know what, I think I'll be able to tell just because I can produce things if it connects up, right? Production. Yeah. Alright, so let's try to move one of these guys into the inventory of the survival kit. And I can do it. Alright, so that's pretty nice. So they are all linked up with the conveyors and whatnot. There's an asteroid directly in front of us. I think I'm going to go there first and mine some stone and whatnot. Basically the same thing I was doing on the moon, but on an asteroid now instead. Which is a little bit cooler than the moon. At least in my opinion. Can I go like that? Yeah, because there's only one thruster there. If I want, like, there's 3 on the back. 2 at the bottom, yeah. So, if I was going to stop myself, turning myself around seems to be the best way. But forward also works. I think just the side was bad. Now half of me wants to go get that unknown signal, and half of me wants to just stay here. I think I'm just going to stay for the time. At least until I get some slightly faster ships. Also, there is a mod that I don't have enabled quite yet that lets you change the speed that your ships go. You can change both the large block and small block to differing speeds. I think that's pretty cool because the 100 meters a second between, like, say if you had bases built up set like a good distance from each other on different asteroids, it's a little bit slow to go from asteroid to asteroid, at least in my opinion. I know you can get the jump drives later, where that becomes less of an issue because you can just set the waypoints in front of the different asteroids and jump from place to place. That's what I ended up doing in my last playthrough here. But yeah, so one thing that's going to be very important for us to find here is ice. Until we get ice, we have a limited supply of oxygen, which is concerning to say the least. We need that to live and whatnot. Where's the respawn pod? Here, there it is. Actually, I think I'm gonna head for the moon because where my crashed respawn pod is, the one that I just crashed not too long ago, there was a fuck ton of ice. Now, this ship only has ion thrusters on it, so it cannot perform in atmosphere. Thankfully though, on the moon there's not enough atmosphere and resistance to really be an issue. Yeah, so for the flight's gonna take a good 20 or 30 minutes, give or take, with the distance here. So I'm gonna cut out for a little bit and join you guys once I reach the moon. I'll probably, once I get into like the gravitational pull of the moon, I'll cut back with you guys. Until then, good luck, and I'll see you soon. Hello, welcome back. I'm not quite to the moon yet, but I have decided I'm certainly going to install the mod real quick that lets you change the speed that different ships can go. I'm finding being locked at 100 meters per second is a little bit annoying. Now I'm not going to change it too crazy much. Generally what I like to do for that is to set small ships to be able to go at 300 meters per second, while large ships can go at 200. Which isn't too crazy, all things considered. I've definitely got it to be stable, running at like 1800 kilometers a second, or meters a second, sorry. Which is a little bit fast, don't get me wrong. It was very easy to accidentally, oh shit, there's an asteroid. Oh wait, I am now inside of it. Dang it. Right? It happens. Anyway, so I'm going to close the game and enable the mod. Alright, hello. I come back now with a successful mod installation. You can see that the percentage of speed does not match up for me going 100 meters per second. And look, we are going above 100 meters per second in Space Engineers. And that's not just a number going up, you can like physically see the distance getting shorter here. One thing, it is a little hard to stop now, because you can get a lot faster. But that's okay. Oh shit, it's really hard to stop, really hard to stop, really hard to stop. Come on. I'm gonna die, not gonna die, we're fine. Okay, that scared me. But I found some asteroids here on the way to the moon. Now, I know I don't have a refinery quite yet set up, but I still want to collect the materials, in hopes of, you know, when I eventually make a refinery, it being something that I don't have to go find. Now, it doesn't look like there's too much here. It looks like this is two different materials, but it might just be two different shades of stone. I'm gonna get out here and put my drill on things and see if any of it is ore. I don't think there's an ore detector on board here. Let me see. Yeah, there is no ore detector. So, man, I'm here. It put me to the wrong side of it. And when you're in that little cubby there, there's not really a good, like, you can't really fit in that gap. So you kind of have to turn yourself horizontal and fly with the jetpack. The jetpack in this game is basically crucial. If that wasn't here, a lot of ships would be bad. Only thing I'll say I don't like about this respawn ship, I wish it had a little bit more. I wish it had a gravity generator. A gravity generator is always helpful in a ship, in my opinion, because, you know, it just keeps you stuck to the ground. You don't have to think about it. Now it's hard to, like, remember that if I jump, I will not fall back down. If I was gonna add anything to this ship, it would probably be that and the ore detector. I might even add an ore detector. Actually, no, I'm gonna add an ore detector here. So that way I can fly relatively close to things. I mean, you have to be basically right on top of it. Also, your character is considered a small ship. I found that out a while ago because I can fly at 300 meters a second as a just person, which is pretty cool. I wish the mod added settings to change the speed of the player separately from small ship. And also, if you're curious of what that mod is, it's called Expanded Settings. There's actually a whole ton of other stuff you can edit in that as well. The only one I really care about, though, is the speed setting, and that is the entire reason I downloaded the mod. Now, I've played Space Engineers for a while, but I wouldn't say, like, I'm not active in the community or whatnot, so I certainly will be doing things a lot different than you might traditionally see people do in Space Engineers, because I kind of have been figuring it out mostly for myself. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do watch tons of videos about it to try and learn things, but most of what I've done has been through guessing and checking. Alright, so we'll put the silver and the silicon here. We're going to mark this asteroid thing because silver's quite the commodity. New from current position, AGSI. Alright, and also let's go back to this, edit that name. Perfect. So, I don't know, it's not to say that some of the other asteroids don't have, or some of the other surrounding asteroids don't have more materials in it. Like, this is quite the big asteroid setting here. But that's what I found so far, and that's already enough for me to come back to it. I might even eventually, once I get more into this, build a small little space station there. But one of the first things I want to do before I do anything else too crazy, like I'll go to the asteroids, like that one right there, on the way to the moon, just for the extra supplies. But I completely forgot what I was saying, I'm sorry. But you can see here, the 200 meters a second is a lot more beneficial for traveling from, like, just that asteroid over there to here. That would have been every bit of, like, 5 or 10 minutes doing that. And I've only been recording in this bit of recording for 6 minutes. So either way, it's quite useful in my opinion. Definitely a mod that I would consider downloading if you think that the default speed setting's a little bit too slow. It's not as much of a problem in Atmosphere that I found. It's really the most noticeable in scenarios like this, where you're going from planet to planet or asteroid to asteroid in a ship like this. I think that's uranium. I hope it is anyway. I think uranium's like a black splotchy substance. So that's not gonna be uranium because that's too solid. Oh, that's ice. Yeah, it's ice. Okay, so we don't need to go to the moon. Yeah, we're gonna definitely mark this here. Oop, new from current position. Change name. Ice. Okay, cool. Well, that's helpful that we don't have to fly all the way back to the moon to get the ice. The fact that I have, and this is a lot of it. It's not just like, like these ore patches are generally pretty big. I have the high density ore set on, which once again, I really just want to, when I play Space Engineers, I mostly want to get to building the ships, flying them around, you know, shooting enemy ships, and stuff of that nature. So the less time I have to spend doing this type of stuff, the better. Now definitely the first couple of episodes are gonna just be me mining a bunch of stuff, but that's fine. Eventually here, it's my goal to build a space station this episode, and then the next couple, the next one after that, we'll build our first ship ourselves here. Aside from, you know, just the respawn pod. And we will go from there. And just, it'll go from more of a beginner's guide to this is just a random shit I want to do. I would say pardon my language, but also I don't entirely care that much. Inventory, we'll put the ice here. Now it should take it, yeah, it's going to take it the O2H2 generator immediately. That's nice. And I think this will also, yeah, because it wants to be making more ingots. Alright, so I think actually this is going to be the asteroid we start our base in. Mostly because of the ice, I'll be honest. Ice is something that personally I don't like to run out of, as it is, you know, your way to breathe, and that seems pretty important to me, especially at the beginning. There's not a whole ton else on this asteroid, it seems, but that's okay. There's stone, there's tons of stone, and I do know where some cobalt is back on the moon once I am at that stage. But as for right now, I don't really need it. I will need it once I get to the part of building the refinery, but with the basic refinery, it should be okay. Now, because there's no gravity here, I do have to go and pick up all the floating bits of ore here, which if you see that I stop before my inventory gets full, that's why. It's not just me randomly stopping, it's, let me make sure I get all the stone. Alright, so my inventory's full now. Probably shouldn't have done that last little tiny guy, but it's not the end of the world. It is stone after all. We will have plenty of opportunity to get stone. So we're gonna be doing what we were doing before here on the moon. Just picking up a whole bunch of stone to mine here. A lot of times, actually, I will have a gravity generator and then build a little, like a gravity generator that I'll put just below whatever asteroid I'm mining. Especially if it's a tiny one like that. And then it'll drop down onto the, like, to a spot that I would be designed on the ship to pick these up. Or, honestly, I probably wouldn't do that normally. I would just make a small little mining ship. Yes, I eventually plan on hopefully making, like, auto miner stuff for asteroids and whatnot, and then getting ships to fly between asteroids while I'm not there, and then also getting antenna relays set up between the different asteroids that have small little bases on them. That's the plan anyway. That'll be a couple episodes down the road. That'll be more once we've gotten, like, a couple of several ships built. We've definitely, like, have plenty of materials. Right now, we're definitely struggling, or at least, you know, in this beginning stage, I'm struggling to have materials just because I haven't played long enough yet, so I haven't mined enough things and gotten the resources. But it should be okay. I see the sun here will go behind the Earth after a little while for this asteroid. That is fine. But I would prefer it didn't, with me needing to use solar panels here. Also, it's definitely going to be, this is going to be kind of a longer episode, because definitely the first staging process is the longest in Space Engineers, at least in my opinion. Like, before you've gotten all your shit, right, it's hard to start. Which is similar to real life, you know, once you've gotten somewhat successful, it's easy to, like, decide to go on another adventure, or start another venture, right? But when you are at zero, it is hard to go anywhere else. Because then, you know what I mean, if you have nothing, you can't even, like, go and get a job and whatnot, right? Because you are smelly, you know what I mean? This isn't about politics, though. This is about space. Although, I'll say, you can tell a much better political story in a space, or in a sci-fi setting, because I was talking to one of my friends about this recently, but in a small setting, it can be hard to see the, you know, details of things. Like, if you were looking at an atom, right? We genuinely have so many theories about how atoms work, because we really don't have the we really don't have the capabilities of seeing down to that fine of a thing. However, we have our entire solar system mapped out. So, you know, a lot of times, once it gets bigger, it gives you a better perspective on things, at least in my opinion. I've always liked sci-fi, though, so it's not like that's why I did. I just liked space and the idea of it. I remember when I was in high school, I was always really excited when we were talking about space and whatnot for class. And I always did really well on those tests. Other tests I did really well on were just like, basically anything to do with science I did amazing in. In English I was relatively poor, but that's okay. I hope the drilling sound isn't too loud. Actually, I think I'm going to turn the sounds down for this. Oh, I already do have the sound down relatively low. That's fine. I generally will turn down sounds in games, because I like to watch videos a lot while I'm playing games. So, if you ever see me play games, you always, like, it'll always be a little bit quieter than it by default would be. And there's other games that I don't do that with, like very story-heavy games, like the Assassin's Creed series. I definitely didn't play with the sound low or watching videos and whatnot. And that's just because it was kind of annoying to do. But that's not to say I didn't. Like some of the exploration parts where I'm just running around, especially towards the end of the game, I was definitely a little bit more of a... I definitely played a lot more with the sound like down and whatnot. The Space Engineer's controls were a little bit weird to start with, but after you get used to them, they're really convenient. At least in my opinion. Like, there's some stuff that I think that is natural to me because it's like in just default computer things, that is convenient to me because I learned it in Space Engineers. Do I have creative mode on? It did? Oh, my bad. Alright, that's good. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Alright, I didn't put anything down when I was in creative mode by accident, so I think that's okay. I know I was planning on looking at the ship's interior, I think that's why. But it's not the worst. It does say there's 500 hydrogen in my tanks, but there's no hydrogen tanks. So I wonder if all of that is just in the engine itself. Because there's a little hydrogen engine on the ship. Like in order for power generation early on. Which actually I might use here instead of solar panels in the beginning. What do you guys think? You think I should use the solar panels? Which actually, where I built this is trash for solar panels, so it looks like we are going to be using the hydrogen fuel, which isn't that bad. I quite like the hydrogen generator, actually. It's really efficient for what it is, especially with that set of ice here, and then also more ice back on the moon. And then eventually, once I get to like Mars and the moon of Mars, ice ceases to become a problem. Oop, shit. Where'd my respawn pod go? There it is. Alright, we're going to fly this a little bit closer to base here, because in a little bit we're going to be doing a good amount of welding. So we'll run out of power quite frequently here. So let's move this guy right into that gap between the asteroids. Oops, didn't wait for the door to close all the way. That's fine, there's plenty of ice. Where was the actual... Wait a minute, where was my little base here? I mean, it's not nothing yet, it's just some steel in the ground, but where'd I put it? Oh, I should have marked it with a waypoint first. I lost my stuff! Where'd it go? Come on. Alright, I know it's somewhere between these two here. I think, I presume I'll be able to find it a little bit easy. Oh, there it is. Ooh. Get the more hydrogen out so we can still fly here. Nailed it. Just vented a bunch of oxygen, as you do. I think I'm gonna grab those two here. Just for the extra longevity of this operation here. I just tried to right-click delete that. You can tell I've been playing creative mode for a while. Recently here. At least I noticed that last time I was there. Now, I welded that bit up here because it's going to be very difficult to weld later, especially that corner. Now, I suppose the corner doesn't need to be welded, but it should. I kind of wanted it to be. And you just need to have all 6 sides sealed for oxygen to seal. Unfortunately, you cannot have any of the voxel or like asteroid material visible in the base. I think that aesthetic looks pretty cool, but once you do that, you can no longer seal up the room to put oxygen in. And that's definitely more important than like having some cool little rock mesh coming through the walls. Alright, so I want this to be 5 tall here, so E, R, San, S. Whoa. Alright, that's 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, alright, good. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Nailed it. And the reason I want it to be 5 high is so I can put the refinery down and have its top line up with this top here. Because the refinery is 4 blocks tall. The basic refinery is only 2, I believe. But that's not that big of a deal. So once I get this base built here and the refinery, I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go find a whole ton of iron, mine it up, so that way I can make enough steel to weld everything here. As for now, it's just going to be the unwelded, you know, scaffolding looking stuff here, which does look pretty cool in my opinion. But yeah. Ooh, give me them. Beautiful. Alright. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop. Alright. I also am going to have this section here kind of be an airlock type of deal. So this will be a little bit smaller here. It will make sense once the base is kind of finished here. Right now it's definitely just in the pre-production phase here. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3. Beautiful. Alright. We're getting everything built out. Quite a you know, it's a relatively large base for a starting thing, but I have played this a couple of times here and I've gotten kind of used to it. I also know what I'm going to be putting in this base and what I'll need and stuff of that nature. Not on this, I'll probably make a carrier for it, but one thing I want to do with this series, I definitely want to make just a ship printer. I've yet to successfully make one, but I recently have figured out what I was doing wrong. With the projector block, I wasn't connecting anything to the hologram looking thing. So as a result, there was nothing to weld to. So it couldn't do it, which makes a lot of sense. I like how a lot of the Space Engineer's mechanics makes enough sense like that it would be in real life. Definitely the 100 meters a second speed cap doesn't make the most sense to me, but that's probably for stability issues. Because I know on like older computers, like mine's pretty brand new, so I don't have too much of an issue running harder to run stuff, right? But I imagine on older systems it would be pretty hard. I know it took me forever, or like it was a while before I had a system that could run this. It's a pretty intensive game apparently. I wouldn't have thought that, but it is. So this is going to be kind of the airlock area to get into the base. I might put the rotary airlocks there, so we just need one later for later bases, but for this one we'll just do the 2 sliding doors like traditional vanilla Space Engineers. So this is this. Next thing we need to place down is going to be our refinery and assembler. So we'll go for 6. I'll put the refinery here. I think I'm actually going to do the the not basic refinery sideways up here. That seems like it'll be a little bit nicer of a design in my opinion. So we've got plenty of steel plates for this. We just need 20 construction components, 10 motors, and 10 computers. And then we will have our refinery done. So we'll go to production here. We'll say 10 motors, 20 of these guys, and 10 of these. And we have all the materials for that, thankfully. Generally, if you try and get 1,000 iron ingots from stone, you'll have enough to make your basic things right off the bat here. You might need to get some more if you're going to be using solar panels, which I am not going to do. I'm going to use the O2H2 generator and hydrogen tank, or hydropower. Hopefully, anyway. I might I actually might be able to do it, because the sun does come by every now and again. I mean, it won't hurt to put the extra solar panels in, it's just a lot of materials. For like early on in the game. Alright, so now I'll need some interior plates here. That will make sense in a moment here. I could just put the assembler attached to the refinery and have them just connected themselves. But I don't want to do that because I want to be able to add other stuff into the loop later on. So you'll see what I mean when I am there. I'm basically gonna just get the assembler, the refinery, and some basic power here. I think, yeah, I'm gonna put this right here. Need some steel plates. Just take one from here. So that will be enough to place the initial block there, but not enough to actually what's it called? Like, weld it out. I am now gonna go back to my ship here, and I'm going to grind this down a little bit here. Not enough to completely destroy it, just like that. And now, because I built that, I have access to the conveyor belt stuff, which is quite nice. I think I just replaced the solar panel. Really didn't mean to do that, but that's fine. Last game I played, I had an issue where I basically could not... What's required in the hydrogen engine? Or a hydrogen engine. Alright, what do you need? You do need small and large steel tubes, so I cannot do this as an initial power source because I cannot make small tubes on the survival kit. You know, I guess I could put an assembler on top of that instead of on the base here, and that would allow me to you know, make the small steel tubes right off the bat. But I'm not that worried about it. We can make solar panels, presuming that the sun will stay you know, will come around often enough that I get to see it here. It is weird that the moon actually has rotationary physics to it with the sun, because I was under the impression that the moon stayed relatively, like, there was a, like, it didn't rotate that much in terms of, like, the size. I could be wrong about that. I'm no scientist. That's plenty. It's plenty. Okay, cool. Alright, so where is the sun here? It's right there. So put it there, there, and there. We're only going to do 3 solar panels for now. Mostly because I don't like solar panels. They cost a lot of materials for what they are. So I'll need 36 girders. 36 girders. Come on. There it is. Alright. See, that's another one of those places where the gravity generator would have been nice. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 36 of those. I need 20 construction, or 30 construction components. 126 of these guys. And that is all I remember that we need. And I do have enough materials for that. Once again, most of this stuff is relatively planned out by me. I'm not just coming in bumbling around like an idiot. I have played Space Engineers several times. Or like survival mode anyway. So the amount of materials I need for solar panels and everything like that, I about know. Which once again is why I was trying to get the 1,000 iron from stone. It's important that you get the 1,000 iron from stone for stuff like this. If you're doing a pre-built world and you already have a refinery and whatnot. Although, I will say, if you do have a pre-built world and you already have a refinery and whatnot, this isn't necessary. I don't like to do the pre-built stuff, like the, what's one of the, like the Mars place? Alright, so I'll also need computers here, which I'll only need 12 of them, so that's not bad. Where'd the respawn pod go? So we're getting some power going here. It's not a whole ton. You cannot make power components on this, which I think is kind of crippling myself, but that's just me. I wish you could build power components in the thing there. Now you might actually be able to here. I did not make enough construction components. So like 20 more. That's plenty. Beautiful. Alright, and see, I was right that the amount I had was plenty for the other thing here. Or for the steel plates. Beautiful. Alright. So now we should be able to, one at a time, run the refinery and assembler. We won't be able to do both, but yeah. Anyway guys, I'm gonna about wrap things up. I've been going for a little while here. I hope you guys enjoyed. In the next episode, we will finish building this base here. Along with some other, that's probably all we're gonna do next episode, is finish building the base. We might start on some other things, but I doubt it. Anyway guys, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your evenings, days, nights, whatever it may be.